celebrating 49 years on the air. Award-winning Farmweek is a production of Mississippi State University Extension.
Today on Farm Week, after 49 years, the final episode. Two former anchors talk about the end of an era. In the conclusion, Artis Ford and Leighton Spann reflect on 57 years of combined effort. In our feature, we end the show where we started, our first feature, one last time. And as we close out the show, tributes from our fans from the heart. Farm Week starts right now.
Hello everyone, I'm Zach Ashmore.
And I'm Mike Russell. We are glad you could join us for our final Farm Week episode. After 49 years, we've reached the end of an era. Farm Week is leaving the air after just shy of 2,500 episodes.
Which makes this episode all the more special. Recently, Mike invited former Farm Week anchors Leighton Spann and Artis Ford to the studio for a chat.
Needless to say, after nearly half a century of Farm Week, there was a lot to talk about. Here we are, three old hired hands. I've been in the Farm Week chair for 8.5 years, but that pales in comparison to the 57 combined years of you two. How does it feel to be saying goodbye to a show that meant so much to the two of you?
Well, obviously it's sad. You poured in so many years to a production you would hope would be around, you know, even after we're gone, but times change. A lot of reasons why we're here talking about the end of a show.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a little sadness. I mean, you know, you put a lot of time in on it, but times do change.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, things have changed so much from since I retired 10 years ago, you know, in TV with streaming video and all that sorts of stuff coming into the market that.
Well, you mean, you look now, local newscasts, I mean, a lot of stations are paring back on the local productions, you know, just because the audience, I don't think, is there anymore for a lot of the shows.
Yeah.
49 years is a long time for a show to be on the air.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And we were kind of hoping that we'd stay on the air until, you know, at least through 50. But 49 years is a good run. And a lot happened on the show just during my time on the show. And for you guys, sitting next to each other again after some time away, lots happened when you were in the chair.
But that's an indication of commitment, though. Bill Bost was Extension Director, and he was really very forward-thinking. And he, television, radio, when the opportunity came along to do Farm Week, he jumped on it. Farm Week was obviously produced out of Mississippi State. It was Mississippi State Extension Service was funding the show. But I still considered Farm Week to me to be the People of Mississippi show. And we were doing it to hopefully help landowners to inform the state about what's going on in agriculture, or to inform farmers or landowners about this is happening in public policy. You know, you need to be aware of it. This is going to affect you in the future. And I run into people now, and this is my joke now. They will say to me, "Oh yeah, my dad made me watch you when I was growing up." Well, now it is, "Oh yeah, my granddad made me watch you when I was growing up." But yeah, I mean, it just, and for the people who feature stories and that we had on the show, we always felt that we wanted to do the best job we could, because chances are this is going to be their one time to really be in the spotlight. So, you know, you want to do a good job. So yeah, I mean, we did a lot of numbers in the beginning, the first years, because like I said, it was a source for people to know, well, what are cows going for this, you know, what did they go for this past week? Because it wasn't available anywhere. And now, as you said, you can pull out that phone and, you know, you can call up your broker and buy a futures contract or something, you know.
While you're going down the road.
Or do it without the broker, probably, right. You know. So
that absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, so that changed what we did in the market segment over the years, because there wasn't that need to put those numbers out there because they were available.
Yeah.
And speaking of numbers, there was a trip that you took back to D.C. to check on the supply and demand report that comes out monthly. And that was a major effort, going to D.C. to shoot the show. How did you
Right.
handle that?
Well, we had a lot of luggage between all our gear that we took, but
You both went, right? You shot most of it, or?
Yeah.
yeah.
But that story, though, I think kind of, to me, proved the kind of work that we do, or we did, was that Leighton's story, the USDA used it before people would go in to see the where they put together the supply and demand reports. They would show that his story to say, this is what's you're going to see tonight while this is going on.
Artis, you started your career, you were pretty young. Leighton, what was your first impression of this young Turk when you joined the show?
When I read that question, you know, I never thought of him as being young, because, you know, here I am stepping into the agricultural waters, an area that I was not familiar with, and, you know, he was this fountain of knowledge with all this experience in this particular area that I knew nothing about. So I never viewed Artis as a young man, although age-wise,
I was 25 when I first started on Farmweek. I was 25.
Yeah. So, you know, I always saw him as this mature source of knowledge and information that would bail me out.
Snowed mightily.
Artis and Leighton, obviously friends and colleagues, and rightfully so after so many years working together.
We pick up with the conclusion of the interview, Leighton telling us what he liked so much about doing the show.
Leighton, you once mentioned that being able to travel free range across Mississippi was your favorite part of the job. What was it about the Mississippi farmer that made them such a compelling subject? Why did you like that part of the job so much?
Well, I mean, there were just so many interesting characters, and you couple that with, you know, the extension agents that you would meet, or they would meet you at a particular site where you were going to do a story. I mean, it just, I mean, 9 times out of 10, it made for great television, whether you had planned it that way or not, because between the extension agents and between the landowners, I mean, everybody was interested in making the most of our visit, and you know, like I said, we never tried to take out early from a place. I mean, if somebody was willing to share information and share their life with us, we hung with them. We were there, and stayed there till dark if needed.
You both have delivered sign-offs for seasons and year-ending shows. As the show itself prepares for the ultimate sign-off, what's the one thing that you would like the audience to remember about the Artis and Leighton era of Farmweek, of the show?
Well, if you got to work with somebody for 22 years, this is the guy.
Yeah. Couple of good men.
I mean,
Worked together
likewise,
for a long time.
you know, I couldn't have handpicked, you know, another person to have the relationship working and otherwise that we continue to have. I mean, it's like, you know, weeks or months may go by, we can pick up the phone, and it's like, you know, just pick up right where you left
I always
off.
knew Leighton had my back.
Yeah.
If we got thrown a new assignment at the last minute, I knew that, you know, we would figure out how to do it, and he would be there. And that means a lot. I mean, it's not, somebody can tell you they got your back, but if they show you and they continue to show you.
So many of the stories that I have reprised from the archives, the two of you are up there in front of the camera, and you have different styles, no question about that, in front of the camera. But it was real clear that you were a good team, and you did good work. Content was great, and I really enjoyed watching those shows as I was putting together and sculpting, you know, taking a little bit here, a little bit there, and bringing it forward to put onto a newer show, show that we're doing now.
Well, another thing too with Leighton was that when you co-anchor on Farm Week, you work real close together all the time. So if you can't not work with that person, if you can't depend on them, or if you're wondering if they're going to get their part, if is Leighton going to get the markets done this week? If you're worried about all that, you can't do the rest of the job. I mean,
Right.
So he's added years to my life just by me knowing that, hey, Leighton's going to be there, he's going to get it done. We've ridden, what, 100,000 miles probably
I would love to know
throughout the state.
How many miles we have crisscrossed
And,
Mississippi together.
We've solved a lot of the world's problems, and there would be times you had ridden this Highway 12 for 100 times, and I'd beat on the dashboard and say, boy, I am bored. I'm bored.
And we weren't out of the Starkville city
We weren't
limits.
out of the city limits. But, hey, like I said, it was...
But this was a patient man. What a great teacher and educator for somebody, coming from mainline news broadcasting into this specialized area of agriculture that, he was willing and took the time to take those moments that were necessary to bring me up to speed, and that continued.
Well, hey, I mean, we're we are family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming from so far to be here to do this interview. Congratulations on brilliant careers with Farm Week and broadcast before that. On behalf of everybody here that's still here, that's working on the show, the production staff, some of the folks that we've all come to know in the middle of our careers doing Farm Week, thank you for the work that you did, and good luck in the future.
Well, if it wasn't for the viewers, none of us would be here, okay?
Right.
That, I always try to come back to that, is that we do it for the viewers. I mean, if we don't do it for them, they're going to know it if we're just marking time.
In a split second, right?
But we thank you for carrying the ball for these last years, which I know has not necessarily been an easy time, especially as we approach the end date here.
It's been a little bit of a challenge with fewer people, but it's been fun. It has been fun. Artis, thank you. Leighton,
Thank you, Mike.
thank you. Two friends and a lot of Farm Week history. We'll take a break right here, but don't go away. Coming up in our final Farm Week feature, we conclude our 49th season. We venture back in time to a story that aired in the premiere of Farm Week all the way back in 1977. You may have seen this one, all about Miss Lillian Thornton, who raised livestock near Raymond, Mississippi, all by herself after her husband passed away. A story told in her own words. It's coming up on Farm Week. Don't go away.
Mississippi, let's get moving. Join the Magnolia Moves Activity Challenge. The Mississippi State University Extension Service is offering this virtual challenge for individuals of any age or teams of family, colleagues, students, church members, or any other group. Join the 6-week April the 20th through May 31st challenge at no cost, and you'll set your own goals for becoming more active and eating healthier. You'll download the MoveSpring app or use the desktop version. Register for Magnolia Moves, and with automatic tracking, your movements and activities will be captured automatically to give you a clear, real-time view of your progress and achievements. Also, Extension will hold weekly prize drawings for participation across 5 different age categories. So join us and get fit and feel better, eat healthier, manage your weight, and exercise regularly. Magnolia Moves makes fitness accessible, practical, and enjoyable for everyone. Visit msuext.ms/Magnolia Moves to learn more, ask questions, and register today.
I believe in people and their hopes, their aspirations, and their faith. I believe in intellectual freedom to search for and present the truth without bias and with courteous tolerance toward the views of others. I believe that education is a lifelong process, and the greatest university is the home that my success as a teacher is proportional to those qualities of mind and spirit that give me welcome entrance to the homes of the families I serve. Because I believe these things, I am an extension professional.
Now we end where we started, with the very first feature that ever ran on Farm Week, October 3rd, 1977.
That Monday night, so long ago, a story about a widow in central Mississippi who raised cattle on her own and shared her ideas about life.
I grew up on a farm with 12 of us, 9 boys and 3 girls, and I must have learned a great deal about some forms of farming, especially cotton farming at that time, and so it hasn't seemed too hard for me. My lawyer said when my husband died nearly 11 years ago for me to make no changes. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, I mean for you to make no changes. I said, what I'm going to do with all those black Angus cows that my husband has bought that we have. He said, you're going to keep them. You know as much about it as he did. And I did. So I did keep them, and that, I think, has really meant almost the salvation of my life and my mind, because I was so busy I didn't have time to maybe grieve like I would have. I'm 81. I guess you might say I've been farming about nearly 11 years since my husband died. If I'm going to farm, I have no one to help. Therefore, I have to do whatever comes to be done. It matters not what it is. I have to find a way if I don't know how. I build my own gates. I hang them. I have a circular saw that I saw all the parts, measure all parts for a gate. Saw them all here at the house where I have electricity. Carry them to the place that I'm going to hang it. Build the gate and then hang it by way of lifts, maybe tubs, or concrete blocks or whatever, till I have nailed the hinges on and hang it. My husband had all of the fencing done before he died, but there's always breaks of one kind and another, and I repair. I have a stretcher, and usually I don't have to use a stretcher. I use 2 hammers most times to repair. I have black Angus cattle, purebred, registered. I usually keep 100 head of cattle, but I've recently sold 67 head because they haven't been worth too much. And all of the years until last year, I've had to pay income tax on what I've made on my cattle because I'd sell some of them for breeding purposes and others to buyers whom I know. And so I have done that. But I felt that maybe I better just kind of cut down. I have only 36 now, and I'm just keeping those to kind of see whether the price goes up or whether they don't. And I raise my hay. I have 16 acres that I have cut every year for hay, and I usually get from 1,500 to 2,000 bales of hay, and that's enough for my cattle that I keep. I have a large barn that my husband made troughs all the way through, and they're big enough to hold just one bale of hay after another. I have the hay stacked back of the troughs, and I just lift those 65 and 70 pound bales over into that trough one by one until I have enough to feed as many cows as I have. I raise a garden. I would guess it's at least a fifth of an acre, and sometimes when I'm working it, I'm sure it's a half acre. I've had to water it consistently. Luckily, I have a lake up over where my garden is. And that pipe, I stop up one end at the garden with a stick with a rag wrapped around it. Then I go up to the levee and I fill the pipe, the lead pipe, with water. Usually takes about 6 or 8 gallons to fill it. And then I stick a stick with a rag on it in that and keep it very tight until I wade down into the lake and put that under water with a rock on it and then pull out the stick with the rag in it. Then I go back to the garden and pull the stick out there, and I have a great big inch of water coming out, and then I take pipes and put to the lead pipe, just shave them off and stick them in and water the whole garden. Whatever you have to do, you have to do if you have a farm. If you don't know how to do it, you have to learn.
Definitely a trip back in time. Miss Thornton lived another 12 years after that story. She passed away at age 93 in 1989.
And so a remarkable run, 49 seasons as Mississippi's only locally produced ag news show, a monumental achievement.
49 seasons, nearly half a century of history, but we didn't do it alone. We've had a lot of help.
To our ag communications team here at MSU and to our production crew here in the TV Center, thank you. You helped carry the load and made it fun too.
To the many viewers who invited us into your homes, thank you. While the broadcast window is closing, the stories of Mississippi farmers will always be worth telling.
We end this final broadcast with the tributes of some of those who have been our partners in this amazing endeavor.
Then in our closing credits, the names of some of those who carried the banner high before Zach and I came on the scene. To everyone, the show has thrived because of your resilience and ours. As we close for the last time, we celebrate this idea. Agriculture isn't just a niche, it's the most vital beat in the world, and it has been an honor to treat it as such. Thank you and goodbye.